Hi, welcome to another episode of That's the Thing Accent Core Plus R. It is episode point two, and it is Monday, April the 5th. Happy Easter if you celebrate it.
It's Easter? Oh, yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
It will
yesterday
be.
was Easter, Kevin.
Oh, man. Like, a holiday, I'm still in, normally in pandemic fun, I rarely know holidays, but in the pandemic world, I have no idea what day it is most of the time.
It's also Easter's weird because it's attached to like the Jewish calendar, right? So that's why it's always
Yeah,
free floating.
yeah. And it's like whenever there's a holiday or something on a Sunday or on a weekend, my brain doesn't consider it a holiday because it's like, no, that's just a
I think
weekend.
that's fair.
It's a special holiday where you get off work on Saturday or something. It's like, but but that's Saturday and Sunday.
They do tend to give you Good Friday off.
Yeah, I think that's like the compromise.
Yeah.
But it's still it's like my brain goes like, I don't know, I don't know. So what's going on in this
Um,
crazy world?
I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter 5.
How is the Street Fighter the Fifth?
I like it. I'm working up the ranks,
Good, because
and
this.
it is.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
Oh no, what were you gonna say?
Because this can segue into the dream I had. Because I know everyone loves hearing dream about playing Street Fighter Six.
What's your dream for Street Fighter 6, Kevin?
Okay, so this was a real dream that I had, where I was on like in a hotel, and there was a exclusive leaked copy of Street Fighter Six, and I can only describe it as like half Nidhogg, but also somewhere the speed of like a little faster than 5 but slower than Marvel. And the whole point was it was like a leaked live stream and we were playing it, but we had to be careful because low tier god was outside in the hotel and he wanted to play and no one wanted him around. So we had someone on the lookout, and they'd be like, "Oh, he's coming," and everyone had to be real quiet. And that was my dream.
Oh, that's a pretty good dream.
I was like, man, because everyone would get hype, and then be like, "Oh," and you'd hear him kind of walk around, and then we have to like resume because
Do you remember?
because
Do you
it was
remember who people were playing?
what?
Do you remember who people were playing?
Um, I was playing Ken, and I remember at some point, like one of the features, the key features, I was playing someone who was playing, I think it was Yun, and I did like a Tatsu, and he knocked off Yun's hat, and as a taunt, you could pick up Yun's hat and put it on your character as like the disrespect.
Okay, that is a fantastic taunt to have in the game.
Yeah, and that's like that was one of the features was like active taunts and shit where like characters could do stuff like that was a key feature was like contextual taunts and how big you want to go. And it was like, oh no,
Yeah.
you put on his hat. I remember at some point there's also a feature where if you countered a fireball, the game just turned into Lethal League for like a couple seconds. Or you could like the fireball would counter and get gained velocity and damage.
Oh, it's like the Marvel Infinite, like push block reflect.
Yeah, but like it was one of those things where it's like, oh, you, and then one of the features was, oh, you could spend your bar to like, yeah, no, that's how you would do it. You could counter it, but you could spend like a bar of meter or whatever to like make it go faster and harder.
Oh,
So it
I
was,
like that idea.
yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I woke up and I'm like, oh man, this is fake.
April Fools, everybody. That's
April
not Street Fighter
Fools.
6. We fooled you.
We fooled you. We got you. But I'm like, man, that was a good dream. That's why I wanted to share it.
Yeah.
Because usually my like how did I explain? Like my dreams are usually sequential or have their own continuity, and it's weird. Do you have that going on?
No, typically, like I don't even remember my dreams for the most part.
Yeah.
Like
If
the
I,
most interesting,
there you
the
go.
most interesting thing for my dreams is if I start lucid dreaming. All that happens is then I just wake up either for real, or I wake up in dream, and then in the morning I realized, oh fuck, it got me. I didn't actually wake up.
Oh, that's a sucker. Because there was a while where like my Junji Ito horror story was I was in an English class and there was a paper due, and every time I
Yeah.
went to sleep, it was like the due date encroached just a little bit closer.
Which one's the dream and which one's reality?
Yeah, like that was fairly recent. And every day, like I would wake up afraid, and then I had to remember, I'm like, no, you're like 34. You're not in high school. Like, there is no paper. You have not been in school for like 10 years. It's okay. I'm like, oh, okay. But who you playing in the Street Fighter the Fifth? You doing Dan?
Um, I've got back to playing Vega.
Oh, yeah, with
Yeah,
the changes.
yeah, and like also watching Punk play in Street Fighter, like the in LBC last week. Like he mained Vega the whole way through,
Oh,
and it just reinforced like that's the way I want to play Vega. There's a lot of like BS mix up garbage shenanigans you can do that I've never liked, just because I feel like, oh yeah, those will get you high enough, but then you'll play someone real who knows how to block that stuff, and then you're just boned.
the closest thing I have at the moment, which would be like card game wise in Magic, where there's always like the best deck, but rarely that's the one that I actually want to play. So it's like here's the number one deck, but it's not the one I want, so I don't like it and I don't play it. Even though like yeah, you could probably get really good with it, it's just I don't like it.
Yeah. Also, if you're playing fighting games, I think it is important to know those shenanigans and tricks. So like when you're both scared and both have like one hit of life left, that you can do that stupid garbage shenanigan, and the other person's like, oh, he hasn't done this the whole match. Now he does it. I hate him.
Yeah, that's the plan. Or you either do it's the wake up super. You do it at the very beginning or the very end.
Yeah.
Because you do it at the very beginning to breed the fear that it could happen, or you do it at the very end because it's never happened. That's stupid.
Yeah. I'm so mad. I was playing a match like this morning where the guy didn't do wake up super. He just did like super at the end to chip out.
Ah, that's
And I was like, as soon as it went to the animation, I was like, oh no, oh no. It's like, oh, I can V reversal. It's like, no, you still have to block to do a V reversal. And then like after like I died, I was like, that stupid new V shift mechanic.
yeah.
I could have won. I could have won.
Yeah, you could have just V shifted out.
Oh god, like okay, so I think it's smart that to do a V shift, which is just for those listening, an invincible backdash.
It's
You
really
have
cool.
to have your stick in neutral. You can't be holding a direction and do it. Otherwise, you don't get anything.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's like the my favorite Mortal Kombat mechanic, which is if you just duck some projectiles, they'll go over your head if you're not blocking.
yeah.
I always thought
The
that's
same is true
cool.
for grabbing. If you duck, you'll just duck grabs.
Yeah, I like that because it's like you're putting yourself at more risk for some things to totally negate others.
Yeah,
that's a fun little thing to do.
yeah. But also, like, I'm playing Vega until Rose comes out,
Rose looks cool.
which they're doing. And they're showing off more of her Tuesday. So I'm very excited to see more of how she plays. And also, I'm like, if I guess I don't like her, I'll maybe try to learn Manat too.
Yeah, get all the good costumes.
Well, thankfully, like, okay, now is a good time to get into Street Fighter V if you've never have. because you can just get the Champion Edition upgrade thing, which gives you all the costumes and all the stages and all the colors.
And I saw something like even the limited time costumes are back, but they don't have like
Yeah.
the 1 and 2 colors or something. So like you can still
No,
get
like, yeah, like you still get all of it. The only things you don't get are like the costumes and stages that are part of their like
Pro Tour thing.
Capcom Pro Tour stuff. Yeah, because all of, like whenever you buy those funds go to like tournament payout.
Yeah,
For
that makes
Capcom.
more sense that you're not gonna like do
Yeah.
the you can't unless it's retroactive.
Yeah.
But that sounds like way too much financial shenanigan for Capcom.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we can sell you this birdie skin, but then like 3 cents of it is going to the winner, and then the
Yeah.
organize. It's like, oh, just no.
Yeah. And so like I do, and it even included the like Fighting EX Slayer crossover costumes, which are like pretty recent.
Oh,
Because I just happened to look and I was like, oh, I have the Akuma one. Okay, that's sick. I got Garuda Akuma.
Garuma. Garuda walk mark of the wolves. Nailed it. 100%.
Yeah. But I don't know. Vega actually seems viable, and or also like at least viable at the level that I'm always going to be playing at.
Oh no, that's one of the things that's always worth considering. Like
Something that like kind of fits.
it's kind of like when I'm in a holding pattern until Guilty Gear
Yeah.
right now.
That and
If
Man.
it were a medium.
I'm still like excited for KOF 15, I guess, but I want more actual news on it.
Yeah, it's KOF 15. I'm just kind of like It's I don't know how to explain it, but maybe because like the proof of I haven't played it yet, and if KOF 15 plays like Guilty Gear, I think I would like online. Then maybe I'm like okay, but
Yeah.
for the time being, mentally, I'm just like a fighting game is not technically real until I've played it and it
Yeah.
runs functionally online. Otherwise, it doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
It's also like there's just so little known about it, and like it definitely looks better than 14, but also it's like Guilty Gear looks incredible.
I don't think
And, like-
it doesn't look as good as Street Fighter 5. Like, and I don't think Street Fighter 5 is like a hyper beautiful fighting game. Like, it's still
Yeah.
good. Like, to me, that's like,
Yeah,
but
I think 15 is like maybe compatible to like it's at least equal to 5, but 5 came out in 2016.
yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to get at. Where,
Yeah.
like, it's, and I don't like, it's like your new game looks roughly the same as like a 5-year-old game.
Yeah,
And
like
it's,
that's and also SNK is being bought out by like the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.
yeah, there's that shenanigans there.
Yeah, that's I'm also like I don't know that I want to support you.
Yeah, I don't want to
unfortunately.
support the Saudi princes. Like there's like a uncomfortable nature to it.
Yeah,
And it's one of those things where it's like, I like King of Fighters, but I don't think I like it that much.
yeah.
I don't.
Also, there's just so many coming out.
Yeah, that's true
Like
too.
you just can't. Like the only
I think
like Marvel 4 would maybe be the only game I would immediately buy and drop other games for.
like a
Yeah. If it was Marvel 4 or Capcom versus, if that's which is what they should do. That's like I wouldn't make Street Fighter 6 because to me with like the updates to Street Fighter 5, you should just keep going that and the next fighting game it would just be
Yeah.
I just say it's Capcom versus
Capcom Fighting All Stars.
Yeah, Capcom Fighting All Stars 2 and you're just doing that and you're going okay because now we don't have to worry about having a lopsided
You don't
roster.
have to worry about the mouse.
Yeah, the mouse can't fuck you. And just replace just throw in some Mega Man bosses. I think that was our solution.
God, that'd be so great. Wait, what Mega Man bosses do you put in the game?
Well, okay, you gotta have Boomer Kawanger. He has to be in there. I think you gotta have Magnet Man because Magneto. So there you go.
I like it.
Yeah, like he just has the same moves. It's just it's Magnet Man. What? He's the master of magnetism.
I like Iceman. Is that his name?
Iceman is
The little
good.
guy in like the ponch in the little like snow coat.
Gutsman as Hulk is easy.
Yeah.
Like the same throwing rocks and being big. That's just kind of it. I do think you throw in Airman would be pretty good because that's like Storm. Like you have the tornadoes.
Or Storm Eagle.
Storm Eagle. Oh, that's yeah. It's like, do you lean towards X or classic Mega Man's? That's the question.
I lean more towards X. X is what I played as like a child, so it's what I lean towards.
Like I think to me you got to have a mix. You got to have a couple of one and a couple of the other. Like because you're doing. I would say. Like, what was it? If there's a direct comparison with X, like what was the spider boss in Mega Man X? I can't remember.
He's like the. Is he
like
in like
I think
Sigma's castles?
Yeah, and you'd make like there you go.
I can't remember 100% though.
I also did something like in my brain where you'd call it like Marvel Battle of the Gods or something because you have like a Amaterasu.
Marvel Nemesis?
Yeah, Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects. Where you have like it starts off with like Amaterasu and like Ashura from Ashura's Wrath. And then you get like Gene from God Hand showing up. And that's like your title. That's like how you drop the trailer. Is Gene from God Hand fighting Ashura from Ashura's Wrath.
That works.
Because that's both level of obscure, but of like, that's the Capcoms. But that's I think that game, that Phantom game would be good. I would be down. As long as it just has to play well online. That's
that's it. That's almost inexcusable at this point for a game not to.
Yeah, like I can't. It's honestly it was excusable when we could still do a weekly just hang out and play video games because I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind that. Like, yeah, okay, Tekken plays shit online. Doesn't matter because I'm never playing Tekken online.
Tekken actually plays better now. Like I know it plays better. I think it's not Guilty Gear level good, but it's I think a lot better than what it was.
Yeah, it just part of it is. And this is something I do on video games and like TV and stuff where if I've moved on, it's hard for me to go back. It's really hard for me just to go like, oh, I'm gonna pick it back up because my brain's like, why would I go all the way back to do more Tekken when I can play Loop Hero or try to build these fucking Warhammer models. I'm making a dent in them. Got my Hall of Shame.
Oh.
I did have a hobby revelation in Warhammer when I like on model number 20 of putting it together, where I realized that some of these Warhammer models, like for like the arm and torso. Okay, no, I'm just... So some of these Warhammer models on the arm and torsos, like the torso will have a little kind of thin plastic tube on it where the arm's supposed to go, and the arm has a hole. So you're supposed to put like the arm hole on the inside the little tube. It's supposed to be done to make it somewhat buildable without glue. But how it usually goes is that those two, like the tube and the hole are a little sized wrong, so they don't fit quite right. And before, what I'd have to do is like cut off the tube and kind of just glue the arm on the hole, and that was giving me problems until I realized that I got sandpaper to sand off some mold lines, and I realized I could actually just sand the tube a little bit so that it just slots right in perfectly. And I'm like, I'm a genius. I figured out the genius technique of sanding a slot slightly so it would fit better in a hole before I put the glue in it. And man, that made building it way easier.
Yeah, you ain't just straight building anymore.
Oh, I'm still building, but I'm
No,
not.
you're not straight building.
Yeah.
That's like one of the good characters I like from Gundam Build Fighters Try was straight build Simon.
Yeah, he just. Oh yeah, that was the dude. He
Everyone
just
hated him.
Yeah, because he just built it.
Yeah, his like younger brother built it, and that's why it's just like, it's not fancy at all.
Yeah.
Nothing sanded down. It's got the stickers on it like poorly.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've been doing it is something like the pile of shame grows, and I'm gonna have to paint those fuckers, and I dread that. And because I'm gonna have to go buy more paint and then do shit, but it's okay. It's part of the hobby.
Yeah.
It's the hobby.
Yep, that's how it devours you.
Yeah, but it's also like it makes me understand how people get so backlogged on those things.
Yeah.
Because they'll buy one of these sets and they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna paint it, and then you build it all up and you're like, oh fuck. So my Warhammer advice to everyone out there is don't buy one of the starter armies, even if it's one of the ones that you're like down for. Like don't buy it and then try to build all of them and paint all of them, because it's a lot. It's a lot at once.
What did Nolan? Nolan didn't do that, right? He just bought a few, like.
Oh, he bought like one. He bought like one of the units.
Yeah.
And then it comes with like one in a drone, and he built that one, and then you paint that.
Yeah.
one.
Now I know. And now I know he just posted like he's built his stealth boys.
Oh, I didn't see that one. That one got lost on my Twitter. I need to go investigate.
Yeah.
Because it's like I've been missing tweets because I've been trying not to look at Twitter so much. As you well know.
Yeah, I mean that's the healthy move.
Like I still use it to announce my stuff, and I'll look at it when I'm like going to bed or doing shit. I need to find it. But yeah, I try not to look at Twitter too much because it makes me upset. And I don't need to be more upset.
See, like I don't know, my Twitter does not get me upset.
Mine does. Well, I mean, it's not me being upset. It's not like upset. It's just kind of there's a lot. I don't know. I'm trying not to Twitter so much. Oh, look at those guys. Look at those little boys. I see them. Oh, you did really good on those stealth suits. All right. He's getting it going. See, I think Nolan is going at a far more respectable thing.
Yeah.
Than what I was doing. Where I was like, I went in way too hard. And then I have to decide which path I will go down, the Space Marine or the Necron. Because I kind of like both.
I mean, I think it looks fine, like, the way it's
But, that's about it. Did you know that new Shaman King is out?
Yeah, I didn't know it was out. I saw the trailer, the first PV for it.
Well, like, it's one of those, it's in Netflix time, so it will be out on Netflix, because apparently it's a Netflix one, like Beastars, where we'll get it in like 6 months.
Yeah.
Which, that's cool. I like Shaman King.
I don't get it. Like, Netflix will do its own stuff and release, like, episodes weekly.
Yeah, or just all
But
at
it won't
once.
do that for. But it won't do that for anime.
It's something like,
TV production rights or something.
yeah, it's and licensing and shit, and like how like the Japan DVD industry and whatever is like still on for some reason. Where
Yeah.
it's like if they put, so let's just say they put all of, I don't know, like I like Beastar, like Shaman King. If they simulcast it, then as a Japanese person, it's way easier to just get like a VPN, set it to America, and watch the Japanese dub on your Netflix than it would be to like buy the DVD or have a cable subscription and try to like watch it whatever.
Just so gross.
Yeah. Which is like, it's one of those things where you want to tell them like, maybe it's just because your TV is too fucked up. If it's so fucked up that people, it's like using a VPN on their Netflix is way easier and more cost effective, then you probably shouldn't just do it. But that's capitalism.
Yep. Everybody loves it.
We love it. We crave it. It just
Want some more of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, speaking of capitalism, Space Jam trailer.
Space Jam 2.
God. There's something so soulless about that fucking movie. Like, far more soulless than I could have imagined.
Oh no, yeah, it's called Ready Player One.
That's the, yeah, like, okay, so I will say, to keep on our trying to be even-handed, I did think the part of that trailer where it was like traditionally animated cartoon LeBron James talking with the Looney Tunes looked okay. I almost wished the entire movie just looked like that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that would have been okay. Like we get it, us getting a theatrical quality 2D cartoon. That would have been cool.
And I think then you have some nice, like, LeBron is teaching them basketball while they're teaching LeBron cartoons.
Yeah, and it's because see that's like and then you're getting
Gotta
like
send him to Acme University
to learn his tune degree. The teaching staff's been getting laughs since 1943. It works. But it's just kind of like that. I feel like even that level of it's just not clever. I feel like I'm watching the most cynical movie I've ever seen. It's just like all the it's just the fact that all of they had, it feels like they have the assets from Ready Player One, and then they just kind of put them in the crowd.
Yep, and it's like, well, we might as well get our monies out of them.
It's and my brain just goes like that. They're not doing anything. It's if you're gonna have a parody of something, I think that's also my issue with Ready Player One. Like we've probably talked about it, but you're having all this pop culture shit, but you're not even doing anything with it. You're just
you're not saying anything.
You're just saying like, look at it. Look,
just
here it
give
is.
Me more.
Here's the Iron Giant. Remember that? Remember that?
No. That's here's the Iron Giant instead of Optimus Prime because of some legal reasons, I guess.
Yeah, like legally, we have to use only Warner Brother owned things, but we can't do it. However, looking into it and anime, apparently Warner Brothers did help like co-produce the Mob Psycho anime.
Ooh.
So if you wanted to have a hilarious scene where Mob's in the crowd and LeBron's like, I'm gonna need some help, and Mob goes, okay, here's my master, he's the strongest, he can help you. And then Reagan has to play basketball.
You just have Reagan come in instead of Bill Murray in the final hour.
Exactly. Like, we need some... Yeah, it's like the greatest psychic of the 21st century. It's like, oh, crap. See? But it's like... It feels like that movie, Space Jam, is so easy to have anything creative or clever or smile-worthy, and there's just nothing there. It's just stripped
Yeah.
of it. It's like the most basic thing. Like there's no. I would have done it where if I was Cyber Don Cheadle, I would have had like LeBron and a plucky because it's like Space Jam: The Next Generation or whatever. Like that's the
Yeah.
title. One, it's a problem because it's not called Cyber Space Jam, which would have made way more sense, and that's like
Yeah.
what it is. But you would have had like LeBron, Lola Bunny, and crew have to fight against the super team of like Cyber Jordan and Bugs Bunny. So like Bugs Bunny like is the evil one in this time because it's like you got to fight the best.
No, Kevin, you're close, but I'll tell you where you're wrong.
All right,
They
tell
have
me.
to play against the Lunatics.
Oh yeah, there you go. The Lunatics Unleashed. That would be the super team. See, that's like,
Yep.
or just have. This is like the problem with Space Jam is every idea I have said on 2 podcasts about Space Jam is better than the actual movie. Like one of them was
Also,
just
yeah.
like a tournament where every like you just play it as a tournament and every world they go to is animated or looks like a different style. So when you're in Hanna-Barbera world, it looks like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon and they have to play basketball against them. And then when they go to like
I would also even argue you could instead just do like different Looney Tunes directors.
oh, that'd be cool. Like different ages.
Yeah.
Like here's the Bob Clampett ones.
Yeah, here's the Tex Avery ones.
Oh, that'd be neat. But that's too clever. The problem is that is too clever and too much like thinking.
And like, of course, like the final one, it's like no, it's like this is like hollowed ground, and it's like the Chuck Jones world.
Oh man, that's like when Bugs Bunny has to go like Super Saiyan or whatever, and he has to go talk to like Chuck Jones to give him like the extra oomph in his inner realm.
Yeah.
Just steal Shonen battle techniques. Shonen battle never fails. What I'm saying,
I don't like when Western stuff tries to do it though.
Well,
except when Gumball tried to go Super Saiyan.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, listen, you can get those anime people. You have some Shonen Jump connections. They fucking there's some Shonen. I think they did JoJo. Like JoJo, the JoJo anime was a Warner Brothers co-production, which is why like at Universal Japan they had that JoJo ride.
Hired Doctor Movie.
Yeah, hire Dr. Movie, get Araki to show up, and just say, write us Space Jam 2. That'd be sick.
The other problem is, like, Barkley's Shut Up and Jam Gaiden exists.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they threw in a Cyber Dwarf, that'd be cool. I'd love to see the Cyber Dwarf. But I think that's too hard. They can't handle the Cyber Dwarf.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know if I'll watch Space Jam 2 because it's on it's one of those it's on the HBO whatever, and because my dad has that, like I'm watching the King Kong today because I'm going to go see my dad and we're gonna watch that because they have that at their house. So it's like it cost me nothing. So maybe I will watch it just to know.
Well, I'll tell you what cost me nothing and I'm not going to watch.
What's that?
Invincible.
Oh, okay. So how is that cartoon? Because I liked the comic of Invincible. Invincible is one of those things, I think I was talking to some people like I was doing my WoW shit, where it was like Invincible, The Boys, and Walking Dead was like comics I read the first like volume of, like collected volume, thought were pretty good, and then never read any more.
So most of that first episode I enjoyed. I liked the characters. I liked the voice work. I liked the animation is fine. And then, like, spoilers for Invincible episode 1. If you just want to, like, jump ahead 10 seconds.
Or the comic that's been out for like fucking 10 years.
Yeah. So, then, spoilers. Omni-Man murders all of the Guardians of the Globe in, like, the last 10 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
So, spoilers over. Content warning for, like, descriptions of, like, excessive violence and gore.
Oh, it gets effed up.
Like, you get to see a man's skull, like, crushed in slow motion.
Yeah.
And it's like not the violence itself, but like how ragdoll the bodies are.
Yeah, it's definitely a show, because if you want to go back in time, this was like 18 to 20-year-old me who was super like, oh man, it's the superheroes, and then they fucking get the shit kicked out of them, and thought that was really cool. Like, not, but it's sort of like, right now it's like, I feel like what you're going for is they're going more of, it's like gore violence porn.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of not into.
I'm 100% not. And like, I don't know. I have the same issue with like modern Mortal Kombat games of it's just too much and it adds nothing to the story at all.
Yeah, I mean it's
like
it's because with like the Mortal Kombat, what you can see is there's a line between gratuitous and stupid, and I'm down with it. And then
and part of that is that the characters immediately get back up.
Yeah. And then there's like the one where for some reason like the violence hits different and you're like, I don't like this anymore. Like it's not like there's the one where it's like, I think the difference, I remember it was last Mortal Kombat, where it's kind of like, and this is one where I think is good, where Scorpion like throws his fire spear and then teleports around you, and the fire spear like with the chain like
goes through the ground.
Yeah, it goes like, it like cuts them in half vertically. And I'm like, oh, that's stupid. I love it. It's dumb.
Yeah.
But then there's the one where like it's either Kotal Khan, I think they both, or the Bug Lady, Devora. They both have one where they like rip someone's skin off, and it really, it's like a little too like icky.
Yeah.
Like the one
where
like the best one is the one where Devora turns you into a bug and the bug head comes out and going, ah! I'm like, that's funny. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's the one where it's like, it'd be like in Mortal Kombat if it's
when Noob Saibot like puts like his shadow into you and then like he rips you open from the inside out. Like,
see, I think that's okay, but it would be more like if that happened, but the person was like trying to claw at themselves to get him out, and you feel like actual suffering, and you're like, ooh, like that to me, that's the level.
That's the level.
Where there's like the where the person, you start to feel like, oh no, they're not just getting murdered like super hard in a funny way. It's like it's they're suffering.
Too real.
Yeah.
The suffering is what does it.
Yeah.
And I think another issue is obviously like it's labeled TVMA, but I can tell you as someone who worked a movie theater when Watchmen came out, parents don't pay attention to that always. I really feel like there needs to be some kind of warning on that show. You'd be like, no, don't let your kids watch this.
Instead of putting fucking content warnings on Andy Griffith on Amazon, like every episode of Andy Griffith, it's like my dad and I always joke because they'll have like content warnings. It'll be like sexuality, foul language, and violence. And it was because like Andy and Barney like held an axe and were gonna go smash a moonshine still.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yep. It's like there's drugs and alcohol involved.
Yeah, and Otis was there,
Will
and then
someone think of the children?
yeah, that fucking den of horror. But yeah, it's kind of it's always weird because I do like things that are like the gimmick is it looks like one thing and it isn't. Like
Yeah.
the whole gimmick of Invincible is it looks like Justice League, but then it's hyper violent. Like that's the gimmick. But it's also one of those things where you got to balance between people that are looking for just to watch Justice League, and they're like, oh, like I don't know. It's just I don't know. I probably will. I want to see it maybe. Invincible. It's low on my list.
I say watch the first episode. Also, the episodes are like 40 minutes.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I mean, if you want to watch, if you have Amazon Prime or whatever, the show where Richard Hammond and Tori from MythBusters are stuck on an island's pretty good.
I watched the first episode and I was like, this is all I need of this.
Yeah.
If it, again, we talked about it, if it was like one of the real Mythbusters,
Oh, that'd be
I'd
great.
be up for it. But like one of the interns, I don't care.
Yeah, if it was, it has to be Richard and not Adam, but Jamie. Because he can't like, oh, I'm going to go and do this. Like, because you have Richard being an idiot and him just going, I'm going to build a water wheel. That's
Yeah. Was it your idea, your dad's idea of like the show should also be like cutting to the other side of the island and it's Jeremy Clarkson with the two Mythbusters?
That was my dad's. Where the perfect gimmick of that show is the other side is Jeremy Clarkson and like the A-listers and they're just having fun. And everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I don't mind watching it.
Yeah. But I don't know. It always, like, to me, I'm just thinking about animated violence now. Where someone getting their face punched off doesn't really do anything, but it's like, if someone gets their knee broken and then they clutch their knee and go, ah, like that hurts me way more.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, God. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's Inuyashiki's the right level, which is odd because like that guy's other show, Dance, is the wrong level.
Yeah. Well, I also thought like Dorohedoro has a lot of violence in it, but it did. So does JoJo. Like it just.
Yeah, but they're goofy. Like.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like it's not like, and the people who are suffering are also like people that your brain is like, well, they deserve this.
Or it's so
it's
weird.
Like when it's very different watching like Dio get destroyed versus like if someone showed the same thing but it's Andy Griffith getting
or it's also the level. I think there's like a brutality to it. There's a difference between like a like nothing in JoJo or Dorohedoro I feel like is brutal. Well, I don't know. There is some things, but it fits the tone. I think that's the thing. Like the tone is like when you're having basically the Justice League and you're seeing like Green Lantern get
and like all the action
blown up.
All the action up until then has been like standard Justice League fare, just like super punches and other things.
Yeah. Or
then all at once.
Because like I've their Boys is fine, but the Boys has like violent stuff, but that's kind of the point. Like the Boys is gritty and foul, and the people suck. Like all those people suck, and that's the point.
It's also like cinematography works too. Invincible looks a lot brighter and happier.
Yeah.
So when that stuff happens, it's like, oh no. Versus the Boys looks like gross.
Yeah, it's grimy. It's why I like the Akagi, or even like Dorohedoro also work. Like Dorohedoro is gross and grimy, so gross things happen, and you're like, yeah, that lady got turned into a bug, and then they had to rip out the bug parts. That's how it be. Yeah, but It's weird that it's Invincible, I think. Like, why now?
I've been kind of looking for a rug, like.
I always feel like they would do it later. But
Yeah, like I don't get at all. Like it feels so late. I
that's
guess like Robert Kirkman finally like optioned it.
yeah. I think that's
Like, like
because what I was saying, like
That's what it has
I
to
read
be,
that
right?
comic like years ago, like 10 plus
like
years ago.
Bobby Hill is shown reading Invincible in King of the Hill.
Yeah, like it's such an old thing. It'd be like it's kind of like if you did like a Newgrounds cartoon or some shit nowadays, and I'd look at or like oh no, okay, so here's the example: is if you brought back Drawn Together as is now, and you're like, this ain't the times have changed, man.
Yeah, and it's gotta be Kirkman has been wanting to do this as a show, and has only finally like gotten a studio to agree to it.
Yeah.
Like being like, no, look how well The Walking Dead has done. Look at blah 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 blah. I'm Robert Kirkman.
Amazon, you need original programming. Here's some original programming. All the streaming services need original programming.
Yep.
Yeah. I just wanted to be clear that I'm not opposed to hyperviolence, but I'm a pro. There has to be a point to the hyperviolence, or a level of
I
stupid.
think I'm just opposed to it. It's just not for me.
That's okay. Like, there's nothing. It's one of those things where taste and time has changed, or just things have just been like, I don't need this right now. I get that. I think that's fair. See, we try to be adult on our Baby Time podcast where we talk about video games and cartoons.
Yeah.
Loop Hero rules, though. Loop Hero is so good. I've been playing a lot of Loop Hero. I've streamed it. That game is way better than I thought it would be. Like, it is sort of a card game and sort of a auto roguelike where you just put shit down on the loop and your character fights and deals with it. But then there's combos, and the combos are fun. They either give benefits or add monsters and stuff. So like one of them is, and the writing is good. So like one of the combos is if you make a 3x3 grid of mountains and rocks, it turns into like a treasure keep mountain and like a harpy nest, and then harpies will fly down and attack your character on the loop as they're going around. But that also, because it's a tougher monster, drops better loot. So it's like there's a timing of when you want to build your stuff, and it's neat. And then every time you fight a new monster, like the characters talk, and the talking is pretty good. Like one of the earlier bits is you get a vampire mansion, and when you put the vampire mansion on the loop, like a vampire can spawn with monsters like adjacent to the vampire mansion, and your character talks to the vampire. And it's like, oh, thank God, a vampire is here. Because vampires were, in our olden world, were always noble characters that protected their lands from monsters and stuff. And it's like, oh, that's some lore. But then the vampire was like, I've been driven kind of insane due to being stuck in the void. But I'm an immortal thing. I'm sorry, I need to eat you. And you have to fight him. And that's kind of...
Oh, no.
Yeah, because there's like a weird cosmic space horror to it, where it's the fantasy world, and like the beginning starts where like the lich skeleton is pouring liquid space onto the world and it's dissolving it, and your character wakes up in the void where there is no object permanence. So wherever you're not looking, things cease to be.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah. But the more like memories you can gather, stuff becomes more tangible. So your whole thing is you're trying to get some sort of civilization back. I think, and it's cool. It's way better. a plot than I was expecting for a game that's just kind of like roguelike, run around in circles, put cards to get combos and stuff. And the plot is somewhat good and interesting. Also, the music bangs. It's great. And apparently every track loop is a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reference. So they did that.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's a good game. Real solid game. If you're kind of like, if you're like me and like roguelikes, card games, and auto battler things where you don't have to click very often, and yeah, it's up your alley.
Do you ever listen to Austin Walker's Friends at the Table podcast?
I have not.
So they just started a new season that's like a whole new campaign, and it's set. They're like right now they're playing 2 different games for it. The first game they're playing right now is just to help establish the world, and then once that's done, they're gonna switch to like a character-based one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So basically, imagine like they're playing Anomaly right now, and then they're gonna play like Dungeons and Dragons inside that world Anomaly creates.
Oh, that's neat. I respect that. So, like, what U-Realms was doing?
Kinda, yeah.
I'm just for reference.
Yeah. And like, so it's like the setting is like the Weird West.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like cowboys and magic.
Yeah, and it's like some space horror in there too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm down. I always like that. You know what I've been thinking about lately?
What?
Why is it so hard for people to make a decent isekai? Like, is the isekai genre flawed?
Isekai is like empty, like wish fulfillment.
But even like I feel like maybe it's me because every one of those shows, at least a lot, because I don't know, I haven't watched any new ones, but it's just I've been thinking about it because none of them do the part I want to have the show be. It's like my
Where
wish
things go bad.
Well, yeah, it's like the wish fulfillment part I want to have is a character leveling up and or city building. Like, I don't like the harem or the romance or whatever. I just want I'm leveling up and city building and trying to get my powers. That's it. Like,
But no, Kevin, that's part of the wish fulfillment is getting a girlfriend.
yeah, it's like
5 girlfriends.
it's so because it's just like what's baffling is it doesn't have to be as complicated, but like it's so basic. It's kind of like what am I trying to think of? Well, okay, so like Demon, like let's say I did just finish up. I'm caught up on the Jujutsu Kaisen anime, and it does not like shonen wise.
Kevin, I think it's Jujutsu.
Jujutsu is it Jujutsu or
Jujutsu.
Whatever. It's hard for me.
It's J-U-J-U. It's
Is
like
it Jujutsu?
ninjutsu, jujutsu.
Oh, let me see. Is it I'm looking. Yeah, it's Jujutsu. Oh, it's not Jujitsu. Oh, I learned something today. Thank you, Drew.
There we go.
I've learned. But anyway, Jujutsu Kaisen does nothing spectacular, but it just delivers everything that the shonen battle anime needs to give you. Like, the characters are fun, the powers are good, the fights are good. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And
I started watching it. I like it. I'm only like a couple episodes in. And it's just like, I wish I would have been reading it the whole time it's been coming out.
Oh, yeah. I also feel it matters your proximity of did you ingest Chainsaw Man before or after this show?
Yeah.
Because I ingested this show first and then Chainsaw Man, So my opinion is like, no, this show's really good. And then you got Chainsaw Man that has stuff, but I like it. I like that show.
Probably too small for the post.
I think it's fun.
Once it propagates,
There's some cool shit.
it does. So I should probably wait until it actually propagates.
But what else? What was I gonna say? Yeah, but it's just like no one can do a good isekai.
No, I'll tell you, they gotta do it like the Warriors of Virtue, right? The whole point of going to the fantasy world is so you learn something about yourself that then you bring back to the real world.
Well, that's. I think it's interesting because that was how those things were we gotta get home, and then it stayed to now we gotta stay. So I feel like
I'm happier here.
So I feel like it would actually be more interesting to try to go back to try to get home. Like if it's just
isn't the natural evolution now? I've got to get home and keep these powers.
Okay, yeah, no, that would be yes. That would be if I was doing it, where it's like, no, I gotta get back, so now I have magic. Because why would I want to be King Wizard in like fantasy world where I could be King Wizard in real world?
It's $100.
Like mentally, my brain just goes, I want to make an isekai, but I don't know. I don't think I'm good enough to do it. But I'm like, there's parts. It's that spider. So I'm a spider. So what? Is almost what I want. It's so close, and it just.
And Digimon's the only good isekai, Kevin.
Digimon is a very good isekai because it works, but it doesn't hit the trash elements like so I'm a spider, so what that I enjoy. I like the trash of I'm leveling up and getting skills and combining the skills to make new skills. I like that part. That goes in my brain.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, Digimon Season 1 is the true isekai. Oh, Digimon Season 4 had some moments. 3 is very good.
I don't know. I was gonna say I like 3.
3 is my favorite. Man, I saw that scene in 3 where like they go through like the fucking scene where Jerry's like mom is dead.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh Lord, Jerry had a bad time.
Yeah, Jerry had a rough time.
Jerry had a real bad time. And her puppet kept talking to her in real time. Ugh. Oh, there's some bad stuff. That's why I like that season.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, Digimon Season 3 rules. Maybe it's just the my mental of Digimon Season 3.
I don't like teenage, like, coming of age stories. They're just like, oh my god, this sucks. But, like, pre-teen coming of age stories.
That's good. I also like adult coming of age stories. Or adult has already come of age and is in a coming of age story and just nails it.
Yeah.
That's like I would like to see one of those shows where they're just not distracted by the harem shit, and it's like, okay, fine, doing it.
Yeah.
Like, or it's like, nah. I don't. It's just anime. I'm just sad because I have to wait a week for Thunderbolt Fantasy.
I know. I'm so sad.
It's
coming. Else this season 2 that's good.
It's there's Nomad.
That's what it is.
It's Nomad, aka Megalobox 2, aka it could retroactively make Megalobox a 5 out of 5. Like, it depends how it ends.
I would buy. He would not. Somebody tells me he would not use that.
Because I'm completely okay with them not killing Megalobox Rashiki if Megalobox Rashiki has to tell Megalobox Joe to bring him to further levels of sadness and despair.
Yeah.
Like, then that's okay. Then that's okay that he didn't die. Because it's even worse when he's alive telling you how bad you are.
Yep. It's like, oh god, I can't believe you beat me, Joe. You're trash.
Or what are you? You've wasted the life or the talent I've given you. You've made me retroactively worse because this is what you are now. Oh, they could do some shit. They could do some shit. I am fascinated.
Shit, that hurt.
I am glad. I have hopes. That's it for me. You got anything else rolling around in the brain?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, we've been going an hour. That's good. That's a good length.
Yep.
Good length for a podcast.
That's an episode.
That's a thing, you would say.
That's a thing indeed.
We are the that's a thing.
It was the friends you made along the way.
Yeah. Like that, I don't know why, but it was. I don't even know if it was real, but was there a part in The Walking Dead where they said we are the Walking Dead? Because like mentally, I keep thinking of that with just whatever, or we are the blank, like the title. I don't know if that's real or that was a joke that my brain became real, like that fucking Twitter account that's Great Lines in Movies where they just say the title of the movie like on a fake
I do
quote.
too. And like anytime also that it seems like, oh, this would definitely fit in, and then the movie doesn't, they're just cowards.
Yeah, I agree.
Just cowards.
Like, you don't be a coward, put it in there. Like you gotta have that someone in your thing say the title in a stupid forced way. It's always good.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, I've just before I leave, I've been watching more Letterkenny. Letterkenny fucking rules. We should watch Letterkenny.
Yep. I like Letterkenny.
I think it's very good. Last episode I watched, fittingly, was the Easter special.
Oh yeah.
where Jonesy and Riley keep yelling, "This is Sparta."
See, like, I think that works because it's so out of date.
It does. Well, it works because it's out of date. It doesn't make any sense. And it's just like stupid. But that's what Jonesy and Riley are.
Yep.
I fucking love Jonesy and Riley. I love
I do too.
The face turn they got, where they were meant, you think they were going to be doing as like the villain characters, but then they became pathetic, and then they became the hero characters.
Yeah. So are they coaches yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So like we are, like I know eventually like the women's hockey team shows up and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad and I, we say whenever we see something stupid, we just say it's effing embarrassing, like their coach does, and just like wants to kick a trash can. Just goes effing.
That was like that was my only downside to watching is I didn't have anyone watching it with me, so like I didn't have anyone to say these things to.
Did anyone ever have to say like big city slams?
Yeah, or
City,
pitter patter, let's get at her.
How are you now? Not so bad in you.
Yeah, like I didn't have anybody to bounce these off of.
Oh man, it's fun.
The worst.
It's fun. It's fun. You gotta get those in there. Texas size 10-4.
Yeah.
Your spare parts there, Chief. Some good ones. Anyway, later days.
Later
Bye.
days.